Hey YouTube, I've never done a live feed before. I'm gonna see if any of my subscribers show up. If not, you'll be able to watch this later on. I'll share it on my I'll share it on my videos here. I'll just wait for a few moments and see if any of my subscribers join me. It might just take a few moments. I've never done a live feed, so I don't actually know if I'll be able to see anything. I don't know actually how this works. I'm not sure. Do I have to turn this on? I don't know. Let's go live chat. Okay, well, we'll see. So basically, okay. I don't know. I hope this works, and if you can chat, I don't know if it will come up, but hopefully it will. So if you only follow me, well, anyways, welcome to a live video. This is very strange to do this on YouTube. Obviously, I'm in my bedroom, which I don't usually show. Hi guys. Good, it's coming up. I've never done live on YouTube, and I'm not looking the best, and I want to talk about why I'm not looking the best. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you won't have any idea what has been going on the last 2 months, which has been pretty bad. So why I decided to do a live video is because I don't know when I will be back to filming, and here is the reason why. If you've heard all this already on Instagram, I'm sorry, but there are people and subscribers on here that don't know what's going on. If you don't, you can leave comments. If you do, it's just hearing it all over again. Reason I won't be here is because I've been diagnosed with invasive breast and lymph node cancer. And I had thought about how I wanted to come on here and talk about it. I was going to film a whole video. I was going to do my makeup and do my hair and get all, you know, how you see me and used to seeing me. And because I've started my treatments now, I just don't have the energy to put any makeup on. And I still have hair. I'm just trying to look at least somewhat manageable, somewhat cute with my Mickey beanie that I got at Walmart. So I was trying to decide the best way to come on here, because there are some of you who only watch my YouTube videos. You don't follow me anywhere else. So I really wanted to come on here and share with you as to why I won't be here for a really long time. It could be 6 months. I'm thinking probably more like a year, and I don't know if I'll come back, to be perfectly honest, because I'm off work right now for the next year while I battle my cancer. Now, for those, again, if you've heard this if you're joining me and you are a subscriber, please let me know you're here. I only saw one person tell me. Otherwise, I have no idea. It just shows me there's 11 people watching, but it doesn't tell me who they are. But I apologize again if this is something you guys have all heard before, most of you. But basically what started to happen was when I came back from when I came back from Vegas in September, I was starting not to be feeling very good. I was feeling very fatigued, very tired. My nails, I had removed my art gel nails back in spring, and my Instagram name is jaimethomas. And so it's my name, but just an M for my middle name on there. And if you should follow me on Instagram, because I do daily updates of everything that's going on with my cancer treatment and everything. You're welcome, because that's where I'm always, um, hi, Teresa. That's where I'm at every day. As long as I feel up to it. I've had days where I've been very antisocial, and that's how it is. So please, 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 if you only have followed me, subscribe to YouTube, and you will miss seeing me, you need to go over to Instagram, because I won't be on here filming videos or posting or anything on here. Um, Unfortunately, until I feel I want to, and I may not come back on my YouTube channel. Who knows? But right now, my concern is battling my cancer and just sticking pretty much to Instagram. Sorry, I'm shifting a lot here. So follow me there and you'll know what's going on day to day. But I'll go a very quick background. I wasn't feeling good and just very tired, but wasn't putting two and two together. So my nails were really, really growing. I couldn't figure out what was going on with that, but okay. So I was scheduled for um, my routine screening of a mammogram on October 30th. Now, last year, in October of 2017, I had a big scare with my left side. Turned out to be okay, and no, it was all good. It was all good. Nothing in my right. And then I had to do a follow up in the spring of this year, and everything was good in both breasts. So I was going to start my routine screening October 30th, and to go back to yearly mammograms. So when I went, I had a lot going on in my life and was very preoccupied with things, and just doing therapy for going through a lot of mental things, I'll just call it, and very preoccupied, and wasn't really focusing on my breasts, to be honest. However, I had my yearly checkup in late September, mid-September, and everything was good. There was no lumps, nothing. So fast forward to October 30th. So it'd been about a month and a half, roughly, that I was having my routine mammogram. Then they called me. I was feeling very anxious about it. I figured, I just knew something was wrong. And then they called me back, told me they needed me to come back within a couple days. I went back. So that was on the Tuesday. I went back November 1st, and they said there was something in my right side. They wanted to recheck. So they did some more photos, mammogram with that, different angles, and then there is a significant lump was found there. How I really couldn't have found, it's very easily detectable. I just was not being very proactive within that month and a half, after I had my yearly follow-up, when there was nothing there. So within a month and a half, this lump had grown to the size, it was about 3 centimeters, on my right side at the 10 o'clock position. It's very noticeable. So they wanted to do an ultrasound. They did that right away. And then immediately they told me I need to follow up with my family doctor for the results and all of that. So I knew right then and there it was cancer. I knew no one would say anything. So I called and scheduled an appointment with my family doctor, because they said they wouldn't have the results till the following Tuesday or Monday, the earliest. Then within an hour after I booked that appointment, then my doctor's office said, no, we need you to come tomorrow. So that would have been November 2nd. So I knew that was confirmation for me that something was seriously wrong. So I went to see my family doctor November 2nd. They will not tell you it's cancer until a biopsy is performed. That's how they do it here where I live in Alberta, Canada. I don't know anywhere else around the world, but what they do is they look at the mammogram and the ultrasound, and the radiologist tells them that the lump is spiculated, has spike-like tentacles coming off of the 3 centimeter tumor, lump, whatever you want to call it, and that's not normal of a cyst. So it says, what they write in the test results is that it appears to be malignant, but that a ultrasound guided biopsy has to be performed to confirm that. So at that time, my doctor said, according to the tests, it appears that it's malignant. No one will tell me 100% because the only way to know that is to biopsy it. And that's the only way. Then everything showed that in my lymph nodes, they ultrasound all the way up in here in my armpit, right close to the lump, indicated nothing in my lymph nodes. So that's fine. I didn't get to get a biopsy until November 17th. I had to wait 2 more weeks to do the biopsy in my breast. Meanwhile, I'm thinking the whole time that I know it's cancer. My doctor thinks it's cancer. She assumed it was stage 1 and all I would need is, she thought lumpectomy. I had already decided what I was going to do as my sister had been diagnosed with breast cancer on her stage 1 invasive ductal carcinoma on her left side 3 years ago. So I'd already decided hers was smaller and her situation. She lives in the United States. I had already decided what I was going to do. So a lumpectomy wasn't, regardless of the stage or whatever, whether, whatever it is, was not going to work for me because of the size of one of the tumor and how much tissue they'd have to take, as well as having scare in the previous left side. I have very fibrous tissues. I'm very big chested. So, half of my breast being gone after a lumpectomy, it just isn't good enough to have uneven breasts and all of that. So I'd already decided and had in my mind known, diagnosed that I had cancer. What stage, I didn't really know. My doctor had just said surgery, and then that was it. It's stage 1. So in my mind, I thought stage 1 and surgery. I decided on a double mastectomy without talking to the surgeon, but that's what I had been researching and talking and, the pros and cons of both, of this or that. And, nothing's 100% guaranteed, but it's ultimately your decision. So I had waited, did my breast biopsy. At that time, I had asked the radiologist if he could perhaps biopsy one or two of the lymph nodes that's close to the breast lump. And he said, no, it wasn't in the requisite. And because I was feeling very uneasy for whatever reason about it, and I thought, well, can you just do that? So just in case, I know the tests say nothing, but, and so they said no. So then I wasn't scheduled to follow up with the surgeon till November 28th. Which was a full month from my first original mammogram. So I had waited a full month to hear what the surgeon had to say. So I had been thinking about it, did the biopsy, and couldn't get confirmation. No one would tell me 100%. So that month was very, very stressful while I was working and trying to not be positive. Everyone telling me it was nothing, that I'll be okay, that it's only a cyst, that it's absolutely nothing. The only person who really thought and believed me was my sister, because she had been through it and she understood. So that was a really tough month. So then I saw the surgeon on the 28th of November. And as soon as she walked in, and my husband was with me, and she said, so you have breast cancer. And I said, well, I know I do, but no one has told me that I have it. And my husband just, thank you, had broken down because he had hoped that it wasn't cancer, and that it was just a cyst. So for him, he felt, you hear that and you think, well, now what? You feel a death sentence, everything, emotions go through because you hear cancer and immediately you think, my life is over. It's just common you go through all emotions of dealing with that. So as we talked, she went through things and discussing surgeries, and then the reality started to set in about how much more serious it was than what my family doctor thought. So we went from stage 1. I asked her, she said, no, it's stage 2 at least. And then I asked her to look in the lymph node area, and I was really concerned. So she checked that out, and she did a full exam on the lump and everything, and went into the area that I was really concerned about. And of course, she found it, and it was very, very tender. And immediately, I knew in my heart that that's probably a tumor. The cancer has moved to the lymph nodes. So they scheduled me a ultrasound within the next half hour, and then before that she explained that I would need at least chemo, perhaps radiation, but that the surgery would happen usually first, but that they would do some final tests, to determine exact things as far as stage and type and all of that. And then the lymph node complicated things. Hi, Martine. Hi. Thanks for joining me. I'm seeing there's people here, so I'm glad you're saying something. This will be a long live video, but I wanted to do it. And so then I went from just like, pretty whatever surgery, which was enough to stress me out, to losing both my breasts, to going through probably chemotherapy, and then maybe radiation or both, and just stage 2, and now the lymph nodes probably involved. But you go from this, and this, and you're all over the place. So I left feeling very depressed, went and did the ultrasound. Then of course they called the next day and said yes, they had found something and I need to get that biopsied. So I had issues with them trying to book the biopsy for the lymph node not until December 17th. And I said, no freaking way. Because by this time it was December 2nd when I found out I needed to get the lymph node biopsied, and I wasn't going to wait any longer because it was showing nothing there. And the surgeon thanked me because she said where it's located, you really had to put my arm in a certain position. And yeah, it was very difficult to detect. So she was very grateful that because when I did my CT scan, it would have showed something, and then that would have delayed it, because then I would have had to do the biopsy. So I just really pushed for that. And when they were trying to have the lymph node biopsy not till the 17th of December, I said no. I got very upset, and it's the only time in the process I was angry at anything at that time. And so I called 4 different people and said, that's not good enough. This is my health. I had already asked to have the lymph node biopsied at the same time, and I was told no. And then I said, that's just not going to work, because then it'll be 2 more weeks. That's going into January before I see the surgeon to confirm that. Then my treatment, I just was not comfortable with that. I had waited long enough, and I said, no, that wasn't good enough. So I called who I needed to call. Called the surgeon's office, I called the cancer clinic, I called this other nurse and this, and just to say, no, you're pushing this ahead. I don't freaking care. It's my life. And guess what? I got a call the next day, or later on that day, that said, okay, the following week on the 7th is when my biopsy was going to be. And I was happy with that. So I went and did the biopsy on the 7th of December, which was very painful. It was worse than the breast one. And I have to tell you, I wish I could have been sedated for that one. It was one of the most painful things I've gone through. And I was in a lot of pain thereafter for a couple days. 2-3 days. Yeah, I was in a lot of pain and had a lot of anxiety after that, and just frustrated and just wanting to know my diagnoses. But I still had to do a CAT scan. I had to do a bone scan. I had to do blood work, 2 different types of blood work. I had to what else? I don't know. I had to do lots of, you lose track. So I still had to do that. So I did all those tests. Then they bumped up my surgeon appointment to the 12th and rushed the pathology results, because I said, this is ridiculous, like coming Christmas and all of that. So the surgeon's office called, they bumped up my appointment, rushed the pathology results for me to meet with her the 12th. Then I got a call from the cancer clinic here where I live. The oncologist was going to see me right following on the 12th, after I saw my surgeon and to go through. So then it was confirmed I was having chemotherapy and surgery. Then I get another call that the following day, the 13th, I'm to see the radiation oncologist. And then that was confirmed that I was in fact doing chemotherapy, having surgery, and having radiation. So I was not really happy. I was very annoyed and just like, okay, here we go. So I confirmed, so I'm having both. Yes, okay. So fast forward to go back a bit when I found out officially the 28th of November that I had been diagnosed with cancer. I decided the day after I tried to go to work, it just wasn't working for me and I just couldn't do it. So I decided to start my medical leave at that time, and I'm glad I did because it takes a while to get everything in order for paperwork and short-term disability. And because finding out now when I've seen all who I need to see and how long the process will be over the next year, it's gonna be about a year at least for me to go through all the treatment as long as everything goes on track. So I decided that day to start my leave of absence. So as of November 29th, I have been off work and will be till at least the earliest would be December of 2019 if everything goes according to what it's supposed to be. So if there's delays and blood work, then obviously it'll be pushed back longer, and all I can do is go from there. So I decided to do that. I'm very glad because I have appointments, and it just would have made it impossible to continue working, especially full-time, and then it affects my benefits. So I decided to just stop working and just focus on me because I had been stressed the whole time going to work, working full-time and trying to deal with doing these other appointments, and it was just a lot. So I'm very grateful that I have good benefits. My husband has good benefits, and you know, I have short-term disability. It's okay. It's not obviously your full wage, but it allows me to, you know, take this time. So on the 12th, I went and saw my surgeon again, and then it was told to me that my lymph nodes tested positive for cancer. So that was confirmed. It was also shown at that time when I did my CAT scan, CT scan, that my lymph nodes in my lungs, there was one in each lung and the one lymph node that branches into, so here are your lungs and then you branch, so one in each, and then at the top where it branches, that lymph node, those three were enlarged, so they were concerned that the cancer had moved that quickly to my lungs. So the only way to determine that was I had to do a bronchial biopsy and see a specialist for that. So that was all done. That was rushed because so my surgeon talked about that, how things progressively have gone very fast and aggressive with this cancer, that now it's in the lymph nodes, so we're looking at stage 3 aggressive invasive. So I still had to find out to see my oncologist for chemotherapy, because that was going to happen first, because they will work on the shrinking the lymph node cancer and the breast tumor before they attempt to do any surgery. Thank you, Martine. Yeah, it's been a bit stressful, and I haven't worn any makeup. I've been tired and dealing with all of that. I'm just turning my light on because it's a little dark. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. It's not the best lighting, but this is how it's going to be. So I didn't have the best news on the 12th. I went from stage 2 in breast to stage 3 has moved to my lymph nodes and possibly into my lungs, and going stage 4, possible terminal cancer with I was going through a lot December 12th and was just depressed to heck about that possibility. So, hi, Cadence. Hi, thank you. So I went right directly after I had that appointment with my surgeon. I went and met my oncologist for chemotherapy, and that was a very long appointment. He went into a lot of detail and explained why he wanted a bronchial biopsy. They rushed for that to get done because he wanted to start me on chemotherapy as soon as possible and to confirm the lungs before he started chemotherapy, because that would determine if chemo would go one way or go the other. So he laid out what would happen with the with just the lymph node, and like the I think it's two lymph nodes, and then a breast lump. Outlined the chemotherapy treatment with that, and then he said, but if the bronchial biopsy comes back positive, then the chemotherapy regime would be different and there would be no surgery. It would just be basically, you're given very, very aggressive chemo, and, you're just trying to fight and hopefully go into remission. And many people do at stage 4. It does, but when you hear that, the possibility, you immediately think it's a death sentence. You hear you could have it in your lungs and, well, my life's over. Like you just go through this, because it's like every time I had gone, it got worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's just trying to deal with it as best as you can. So December 12th wasn't a great day for myself, for Derek, or my sister. The possibility of having lung cancer as well. And the CAT scan had shown that there's might possibly be something on my left ovary. So I have one final preliminary test in a city that's about 2 hours away, Calgary, Alberta, that does what's called a PET scan. We don't have that here in Lethbridge. And the difference for that is the contrast medium, that, if you're not familiar, that is used. What happens if any cancer's in your body, like if it'll glow, so that will indicate if it's moved to the ovary. So I'm praying that still comes back. So my appointment for that is on the 4th, so this coming Friday. I'm feeling pretty positive, because what happened when I went my biopsy for my lung, the lymph node biopsy happened, I have to think of this, sorry, I'm really, my days are all messed up. That was last Tuesday. Not this past, but the one before. So I'm sorry, whatever date that is. I'm sorry. I can't remember what that, because, sorry, let me get it. Because that was, I think that was the 18th. December 18th, that Tuesday, I did my bronchial biopsy. They rushed the results, and then I was scheduled to start chemotherapy on the 21st, which is what I've done, one round of chemotherapy so far. So I got a call on the Thursday, the 20th. I have to really think about these dates. And I was told, like, they rushed those results, and that my lungs came back clear. They're negative. There's no cancer in my lungs. That was the best news I could have received for Christmas. That at this point, unless the PET scan shows something on the 4th, that the cancer is still just in my right breast and right lymph node area close to it. So I was so grateful for that news. So there was a lung specialist who did the biopsy for that, and I follow up with him on the 8th to go through the specific findings. It's all over the place, people. Like, I'm trying to keep it all, in check. So I got that news. So I also had met with the radiation oncologist, and she was explaining the whole process of how treatment basically will work with chemo, and then the surgery, and then where radiation comes into play. So this is my oncologist for chemotherapy outlined if my lungs came back negative. This is the course of chemo I'm doing right now. So I've done one course, which I did December 21st. My next one will be January 3rd. And then I have two more that are once bi-weekly. So that's a total of 4 treatments. Then when it gets amped up, after that, for 12 weeks, I go weekly, on a different medication. So for 12 full weeks, I go weekly. Now, what happens is, if you're not familiar with chemotherapy, in between your treatments, your blood level, like there's a whole bunch of stuff being wreaked havoc in your body. And in essence, before you do your next treatment, your oncologist has to determine that your levels in your body with your blood, like your platelets and your white blood cell count, like all of that is within range to be able to handle the next treatment that will go. So with that, you have to do blood work a couple days before your scheduled appointment with your oncologist, and he talks with you, make sure everything's good, and then the next day you do your treatment, your next round. So, I'm just all over. So next week is busy because Monday I go for my blood work. Tuesday, well, tomorrow's my birthday, so I turn 46 years old. So being diagnosed at 45 years old that I have stage 3, I was told stage 3 invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer, and invasive lymph node cancer was not really the best news. That for one, I have to do chemotherapy, I have to do a double mastectomy, and then I have to do I do have to do radiation the next year. So 2018's been a challenge, but 2019 isn't really something I'm excited for, but it is what it is. So Monday is my blood work, and fingers crossed that my levels are good so that I can do my next treatment on January 3rd, because I follow up with my oncologist on the 2nd, and then I do my PET scan in Calgary on the 4th. I have friends of mine driving me and taking me there to the hospital at the nuclear imaging department there, and then hopefully my ovary looks good, like I'm hoping. So please pray for that comes back okay, because until I know that, I feel like I'm not quite yet out of it sticking to this area. So it's been very rough, because now it's been 2 months since that one mammogram, and chemo wasn't fun. Considering what can happen, I think I've been handling it pretty well. The main thing I have been, because now I'm 8 days post chemo, is the fatigue was really, really bad the first 6 days. First 5 days, I guess you would say, from Saturday through till Wednesday. And then nausea really didn't set in until Sunday. I was quite nauseated from Sunday through Tuesday. Really found it difficult to eat. I have meds, and that seemed to keep things in check, but I was having a hard time really eating properly. Like, I wouldn't eat enough because it just hurt to eat, and then if I didn't, like, it was just brutal. So by Wednesday, the nausea had dissipated by, I'd say, the evening. So, and then Thursday, I had a really good day. Yesterday, mentally, I had a really rough day because I've had some skin issues, hugely starting on Christmas Day from the chemo. And I'll talk to my oncologist when I see him if that's not clearing up, because I have big kind of a rash thing here on my neck. My face has kind of been on fire, and then right the V where your breasts meet, I'm got some issues going on there, and then on my stomach it's like little bumps. So I know chemo wreaks havoc on the skin, it wreaks havoc all over your body. So I haven't felt the most prettiest at all, but I've been trying to stay positive. and trying to do my best to say I'm very fortunate that I have very good medical teams in every aspect, from my surgeon to my two different oncologists. I have specific nurses. I have a huge support system in place with nurses, and also with my husband and my sister and friends, and at work, them being awesome and being very good with, helping me get everything situated with my leave of absence, and them being just very, very supportive while I'm gone and battling cancer. And my hope is that I basically, the chemotherapy will be, if everything goes well, it would go through for 5 months. And if everything goes off without a hitch, I have no hiccups, then I need to have 6 weeks post chemo, no chemo. My blood work's all good. The levels, the cancer cells, like all of that is good. Then I would do my surgery, as long as all of what they deem it looks good. So we're looking at, probably the earliest would be June for my surgery. Then I would get my double mastectomy. I'm not doing any at this time, any reconstruction. I'm not getting implants. If I decide later on I want reconstructive surgery, I'm not going implants. There's prosthetics. I really honestly don't want to go through the pain of reconstruction surgery. My sister went through that, and I just talk to women, and it's not fun, and I really don't want implants, and I don't want to go through more pain. So I'm 45, I'm going to be 46 years old, and I feel like there's more to me than just a chest, and that's how I'm looking at it. That I can get prosthetics if I decide. That can happen later on down the line, but I just want to get through this step. Once surgery's done, then I have to have about 6 weeks healing time, that I'm all healed, that again my blood works good, that I've healed very nicely, and that then radiation would happen, and the earliest radiation would happen would be about September of 2019, if everything goes like clockwork, that there's no hiccups, nothing extended, and you don't know the body. I'm a pretty active and healthy person. Throughout this whole thing, people have all said, why you? I don't know. Stress. That's why I've allowed stress for many years to take a hold of my life, and this is what can happen. That's my feeling. Everyone has cancer cells in their body. What deems you healthy or non-healthy with cancer is if the cancer starts to get out of control and take over, and that's what's happened in my situation. And that's how I'm looking at it, because I allowed stress to overwhelm me for too long. And it doesn't matter if you're active or healthy, or don't smoke, don't drink, you work out, you're pretty healthy, you eat healthy, you've led a active, healthy lifestyle. I don't have children. I don't, yeah. So here you go. This is the face of cancer. I still have my hair. It really either needs to be cut desperately because it's way too long and I need a color, or if my hair starts falling out, I will shave my head. And I've got this cute beanie. Do we all like the Mickey beanie? I think it's kind of cute. So I've already got a thing in place if I lose my hair. They've told me between 7 to 10 days after your first treatment is usually when you lose your hair. So we're 8 days and I haven't been losing any of my hair. I still have my eyebrows. Pray for that. Pray for the hair. They potentially said I could lose my nails. I'm hoping okay, I can lose my hair, I can lose my eyebrows, because you can work with that. If you lose your nails, I just, that's something I don't know what I would do. So far they're strong. I did break one here, my middle one, which is what I want to do to cancer. Give it to the middle finger. But you can see I have nails and they're pretty dang strong. Like, okay, cancer, give me strong nails. The one good thing I'm looking at is when I'm done chemotherapy, I will be in menopause. And I've been wanting to be in menopause since my 30s. So congratulations, it took me to get cancer to finally be in menopause. I've been in this perimenopausal hormonal up and down the last 2 years, especially this last year. So I just kind of went, okay, well, give me that. And every person just laughs and they're like, okay, but every medical person, oh, thank you very much. Yeah, you bet. I feel it's important to share my journey, and hence why I'm sharing it on Instagram, because I have quite a big following on there. And I really want to share the ups and downs. That 1 second you can be like I am right now. I'm having a pretty good day. I'm a little tired because I didn't sleep all that great. But otherwise, I'm not nauseated right now. I had a pretty good morning. I went out late. I went out for lunch. You have to try, you have to be very careful when you're on chemo. Not to be out in crowds for very long because your immune system is suppressed. It's non-existent. I'm just reading your comment. Oh, thank you. That's the thing. Like when I got diagnosed officially, yes, every people I know in my city coming forward, they know this person, they have this friend, this person, this person, this person, and even on my social media. So not only in my real world, but on social media, I know so many women who've been impacted themselves with breast cancer or some other form, and they've all survived, they've all pushed through it, and they didn't allow themselves to be a statistic. No, that was one of the best pieces. I got two really good pieces of advice from two separate people. One was the radiation oncologist. Her advice was to me. This was before we knew about what was going to go on with the lungs. She said to me, she's a British older lady, got to be in her late 60s, still doing her thing, and very brilliant. So I was really happy. I liked her. She just said, now dear, I can't do a British accent, but she said, even if your lungs test positive, it doesn't mean we can't aggressively treat it with chemotherapy, and you cannot have a good quality of life. You're 45, so you have many years to your 85 to, yeah, this is a terrible English accent, old English accent, I apologize, till you're 85, so you've got many years to go. So when she told me that, I went, okay, sounds good. Thank you, radiation oncologist. Dr. Wilson is her name. So I just left there feeling, everyone's like, whoa, you're happy. I said, yeah, because you know what? Doesn't mean it's a death. Love my accent. Yeah, I'm terrible at accents, but she was very funny. And the other awesome piece of advice I got was from a lady on Instagram, and she battled very aggressive breast cancer, and she's a registered nurse, I believe, and her piece of advice was this, and this is what really resonates within me and what I'm going to tell you, and it can be for anything, whether it's something going on in your life, whether it's cancer, aggressive like I'm dealing with, whether it's a death in the family, like whatever it is, especially us as women. Don't allow yourself to be a statistic, because you aren't a statistic. You are you, and that's nonsense. Just fight through and do your thing and do your best and be strong and courageous and just fight hard. And I said to myself, guess what? I'm not a statistic. I've been given something that I didn't ask for. But guess what? I've been given it. I'm going to deal with it. And my goal is to share with other women the importance of mammograms. Because if you can be like me and you're very proactive usually, but you can have a little blip in the road where you're sidetracked and because you're concentrating on your mental. Thank you, Cadence. Because there's stuff being thrown at us 24/7. I'm not even a parent. So add if I was a parent, how I would deal with that. I don't know, but you know what? As women, we do. So I took that advice and I take that strength and draw it within me and say, I am not one statistic. I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to go into full remission. If for whatever reason, because cancer does its thing, let's just say, you know, I'm being very optimistic. I'm being very, yes, I'm going to go, but you know what? Sometimes things happen. But I'm just going to fight it and keep going and be as strong as I can. And I'm determined to get into remission. And that's the goal that I have, to say that hopefully by the end of 2019, I can say and do a video update and say to you guys, hey guys, it's been blah, blah, blah year, but I am now in full remission. That's my hope. That's what I cling on to. No matter me losing my breasts, because the girls and I have had our chat. We're saying good. We've said goodbye. That's going to be a tough day, because let's not lie, they're part of you. I've had them since I was 10 years old. And when you grow up, and as a woman, that's what people think defines you as being a woman, is having breasts, and you're not going to have that anymore. It messes with your mind. So when I wake up and they're not going to be there, that's going to be traumatic, no matter how I'm looking at it. And I will have to deal with that and that loss, because part of you is now gone. So that'll be a tough day, and that will be a tough recovery, but I'm prepared to sacrifice that, knowing that for me, the best decision I can make is to have a double mastectomy, because that is what's best for me. Every woman has to make a decision that they're faced with based on what they feel is best for them. And I'm not here to say, do this, do that. If you're faced with this, you do that. That's not what I'm here to say. What I'm sharing with you is that this is the decision I've made, and it's a difficult one, but one I feel is important, because I know deep down that it's not about having a chest that defines me as a woman or as a person or whatever. It's me, myself, me. And I'm better than that, and I am more than that, and I'll have to tell myself when the time comes. And I'll mourn that loss when I wake up and be like, okay, and then I'll be changed forever. This journey is going to change me, but I'm determined to come out of it at the other end, and take you guys with me. And I appreciate all of you supporting me. Before I go, I just want to say, yeah, we are not our boobs. That's the thing I'm trying to think of, because I can't wear a lot of stuff. I have to wear a bra. So I'm just trying to look at it in a way of, well, maybe I can wear tops I never could wear before. That's what I'm trying to think of, to be perfectly honest, is looking at it that way. It's still difficult, but that's how I'm trying to look at it. Now, before I go, I started making, if you aren't aware, I started making chenille blankets. Now, while I'm off work, I don't get paid a lot. Where I live, there's no funding available to me. I found that out and was like, okay, there's no caregiver, there's no funding. Don't have anything. I'm lucky I have benefits that pay mostly for my cancer meds, which are really expensive, and I do that like every 2 weeks and then every week. So I'm thankful for that, but some of it's not. So what I started to do in the last 2 weeks, I've been making blankets. I made one for myself, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave a link down below, any that are interested. What it is I had 2 different friends of mine suggest to me to auction off one of my blankets, basically to help give me some, funding, we'll call it, because I've never once in my life asked anyone for anything, ever, especially money, never. And I don't like to ask for money. However, I liked the idea of auctioning off a blanket. So I'll show you the blanket. What it is any bid that if anyone wants to help me, you would click on it. It takes you right to my PayPal, where the bidding pool, we'll call it, is. And then any bids accepted, whether it's $1, $10, up to the highest bid, whoever has the highest bid will win this beautiful blanket. So I'm going to, after this is done, I'm hoping I can link that. If not, it's on my Instagram in my bio. It just, you click on that and it'll take you, and I have pictures up there. That one there, can you see that? I made that for my sister-in-law as a special gift for her, because she's been really wonderful through this process, and so I'm surprising her. I made her a gray, a vintage white with gray, and I have pictures on my Instagram. I've actually started a business page for my blankets that I'm starting to do custom orders as well. That is, I'll leave that information down below for you as well, but basically it's called Handmade with Love, but the handle, the username of Instagram is blankets of hope, and it's blankets underscored off of underscore hope underscore, and that takes you, I just started doing that last night, and I'll be posting custom blankets. So I am taking custom orders. With that, that allows me to make a little bit of money. And what I'm going to do is I fit those in between when I'm feeling like, when I do chemo and I have a good couple days, like hopefully it stays like that, and then I would make a blanket. And tomorrow I'm going to work on my first custom blanket. I'm so excited. So go check that out. And I want to show you. So do you see that one there? I'll show you this one. So this is for my sister-in-law. I did a two-tone. Isn't that beautiful? So I make them out of a chenille blanket or yarn, chunky, with really good quality, and I got her this special, she's Catholic, so, and then I wrapped it up. Isn't that beautiful? So this is how, if you ordered a blanket, you could choose the color, blah blah blah. So I'm making her I made her two-tone one. It's really nice, and the size of this one is 41 inches by 55, so it's a really nice size, and I love it. So I'm surprising her with that tonight. Now my auction blanket, let's see, is this one. So here's my auction blanket. Isn't that pretty? So this one is what the highest bid will win. So this one is in the color sandy cream, and then the winner gets this cute little ornament that I've attached. And I can't remember, I have the size dimensions on Instagram on my name. I think it's under there. It's around 41 inches by 57 or something, or 55. So they're all a little bit, each one's a little bit different size lengthwise, but they're all very close to widthwise, and 41 inches wide, and usually 55 to 57 inches long. And let me tell you, the first one I made myself. It's so cozy, guys, and I love it, but I wish the lighting would do this justice, and I love it. So I am starting to take custom orders. You would have to pay for shipping as well, because that anyways, if you're interested, you can always DM me here, leave me a message, but the best place would be on Instagram and either my personal or the business page, and I'm hoping I can leave that below in the description box. So let me know if you think that's pretty. And if you don't bid, that's fine. If you do bid, thank you. If you want a blanket, that's good too. Just let me know. And there's lots of different colors, and I'm just gonna do my first. So that's about it, guys. Wow, almost an hour. I apologize. What time is it? Ooh, I gotta go. I have to order. We have to go to Derek's brother's here soon. So thank you guys so very much. I hope to be back here next time telling you that I am in remission and tell you about how my year went. But for now, don't expect to see me on YouTube at all. This was it. I'm sorry again, I'm looking a little, but when you're dealing with what I'm dealing with, makeup is kind of like, I love makeup, but I'm just too tired and I have quite the bad circles. So that was a lot of information, and if you weren't aware, this is why things have been very slow, and why you won't be seeing me very much. But please, please, please follow me on Instagram, Jamie M. Thomas. You'll see me there, and you can DM me all the time and see my daily updates. That's where you'll get to know everything on my journey. If you're interested in knowing and want to ask me any questions, please follow me there, and I would love to see you there if you don't already follow me. So thank you all for watching this live broadcast. If you decide you want to help support my auction, that's fantastic. If you decide you want to order a custom blanket, that's fantastic. If you don't want to do any of that, that's fantastic, because I get it. It's the time of the year, but the invitation is there if you decide you want to help support me in any little bit of way. And if you do, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And most of all, thank you for so much love and support here on YouTube. It's been awesome. I hope to come back. I can't guarantee that, but you guys have been amazing and supportive, and keep me in your thoughts wherever you are. Very, very much love to all of you, and I hope to see you soon and to see you on Instagram. Please follow me there. God bless you all. Happy New Year's, and here's to, I hope, a better 2019 for you than it is for me, but I'm determined to push through it, and I thank all of you for your support. Love you all, and we'll see you over at Instagram. Bye, guys. Mwah. Big hugs from Canada to you wherever you are, and bless you all. And I didn't cry. Isn't that awesome? And thumbs up for Mickey Beanie, and still I have my hair. Bye, guys. Now I have to figure out how to end the live video.